Welcome to the press box with C. Will. I am C. Will. Happy Sunday. Today is Sunday, September the 10th. We are one night after the Razorbacks' victorious win against Kent State yesterday. They won by a score of 28-6 in Fayetteville, Arkansas, in front of a capacity crowd of about 73,000 at Razorback Stadium on hand for the season opener. It was a great day in Fayetteville, a lot of energy in the air. I was in the building and definitely felt the energy, contributed to the energy, the atmosphere. It was just a great day, for the fans. And, we all, I'm quite sure, did our best to support and root on the Hogs. But nonetheless, there are some questions about the team and how they actually played the game. Luckily for the defense was able to bail us out again, just like they did the first game. The defense only allowing 200 yards of total offense to Kent State, only allowing 0.7 yards per carry. So they're stopping the run, and then they got 7 sacks yesterday. So they were able to get to the quarterback. They only allowed a few big plays in the passing game, but for the most part, they forced a turnover, which led to a pick six by Greer. That was a big play because we needed some type of momentum, and that play came right on time for the Hogs, and the Hogs were able to use that and actually build upon that interception that led to a score and squeak out. Well, I won't say squeak, but the game was definitely closer than the score indicated. KJ Jefferson went 13 for 19 for 136 yards. That's only 7.2 yards per pass. So he wasn't getting a lot of time to find receivers, and receivers wasn't getting open. I don't know. I think it was a combination of both. KJ didn't seem comfortable yesterday from what I saw in the pocket. A lot of his throws seemed to be a little short, like he was short-arming it, almost as if he was trying to get it away because he didn't feel like his line would protect him. And anytime the quarterback, starts to like play quicker, that's not a good sign. So it's definitely, in my opinion, a cause for a concern. But at the same time, I still feel like that we could figure it out as well. But it's just, we need to get to that point where we can figure it out as we get closer to competition, because next week the Hogs will take on BYU in Fayetteville, and BYU will be a much stiffer test than the teams that they have faced so far. So the time is starting to kind of run out. It's not like desperation, but we would like to see improvement in the running game and the passing game as well, more consistency with that. AJ Green ran for 82 yards on 15 carries. That comes out to be about 5.5 yards a carry. His longest run of the day was 23 yards. But it just seemed like we couldn't control the line of scrimmage to the second half. So definitely we're not playing the way that we would like to play as a team, because our identity, has been to run the ball. And we ran the ball 45 times for only 172 yards. That comes out to be only 3.8 yards per carry, I believe. So definitely, have to do some work in that department. But we will take a look at what Sam Pittman said about his offensive line here in his post-game press conference. And we'll take a look at it real quick, and we'll listen in, and we'll go from there.
See, I just want to follow something Trey asked about earlier with the offensive line. Do you anticipate continuing to rotate guys, or do you think you might be able to start paring it down, pick your best five, maybe starting here in the next couple of weeks?
guys, we're not the only team in the world that's played 5 linemen. I mean, somebody's playing 6 or 7. I'm trying to figure out who our best linemen are. And if I feel like they've earned opportunities to play, what's the difference in an O lineman and a freaking D lineman? We played 9 of them guys. I mean, if I feel like they're good enough to help us win, it'll help us in the long run. I understand that we're supposed to play 5 guys. We do, but that ain't why we're not running the ball, guys.
So, as you can see, Coach Pittman is starting to get frustrated with the questions. But the questions are warranted because we've set a standard in how we run the ball. And, it's once you set a standard, you have to meet it, and right now the running game is nowhere near what it was in the past. It is even as recent as last year. So you can see the frustration on his face, and he mentioned about rotating offensive linemen. Now that's something that most teams don't do, but I get Coach Pittman's ideal because he had a lot of turnover last year. He had some really big losses with Ricky Stromberg, the stud center that we had, and Dalton Wagner. Both are in the NFL now. And we also had Luke Jones, who's graduated. So, the components of a great offensive line is, you have to have size, you have to have toughness, intelligence, good work ethic, great work ethic, and good character. You have to be a high quality guy, and experience comes along with that. And I think that those guys last year were very underappreciated. Because KJ Jefferson, which he's a phenomenal player, deserves everything, all the credit. And Rocket Sanders, I mean, the skill players gets the most credit, but the skill players won't be great unless the offensive line is doing their part. So I really feel like those guys were underappreciated last year. And now we're seeing, like, because we just assume just because we have KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders that, we're going to do the same things that we did. And right now it's not looking that way. So those guys were very underappreciated. And that position as a whole is very underappreciated because nobody sees what they do, but they have to do what they do on a regular basis in order for everybody to shine. So we just have to figure out where we're going to go to actually move on from those guys. I understand what Coach Pittman is saying. Coach Pittman is basically saying that, I don't really know who I have. I don't know what I have. I haven't seen these guys perform enough to know if I can even trust them. Anybody that's past the 2 guys that are returning, which those guys, I believe their names are Bo Limmer, the center, and Brady Latham. So, other than that, it's kind of like, well, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? So I get what he's saying, and he is giving a lot of guys experience. And in the long haul, if it all comes together, then that'll be great because it'll seem like you have, depth. You will have depth, in that position, and that will prove to be great in case somebody gets hurt. So I get what he's saying, but at the same time, based on the teams that we're playing, we just expect more. And we're not getting that. So I want to play another excerpt from that particular press conference real quick before I move on.
Can't state a lot of credit, to do what happened to them last week, and then them to come back and play like they did. I want to give them a lot of credit. They had a nice game plan of trying to control the clock and letting it run down and things. I think we had 9 drives all day, and they were very physical. I thought they out-physicaled us in the first half, especially. But congratulations to them. I told Coach after the game that the score was much closer than 28-6. I felt like, and that he did a wonderful job with his team. They'll have a good football team. They continue to work through him. He's a good football coach, and we've got a lot to get better at. I'm sure you'll ask me about it. Well, we had, I'll go to the second one first. We had runs certainly in for KJ, but most of them were strictly for short yardage type situations. But we were ready for that. Just obviously we didn't want to have to go to that, if that makes sense.
And I just want to intervene. You shouldn't have to run KJ against Kent State. You don't want him to take punishment this early. So it's showing you just how, it's not a good position to be in right now, because you would think that, the running back room that we, claim to have, and it is talented, you would think that you would be able to still be serviceable at moving the ball with your running backs, but we wasn't. And KJ had to run the ball, I think it was about 13 times. So that's a little much to me for a guy of his caliber, because you want him to be around late.
We were missing blocks. Any type of movement bothered us. There were some times when we didn't have an RPO on the back end. The safety came in and hit us. We weren't especially throwing RPOs in the bubbles well early. So we took them off of the back end. And so we're just not, the last drive was what we were anticipating would happen the entire day. Where we're covering them up, moving them 6, 8, 4, 5, whatever it is at a time. It's frustrating right now for the kids, for the coaches, that we're not running the ball consistently, and we'll continue to work on it.
Yeah, Coach, what do you do to get the offensive line going and blocking better? I assume it's a large part of the offensive line. It could be running backs too, but
well, I think you open up the second half and we got a pin and pull and we run outside the kick-out block. That's not the O-line. You know what I mean?
Right now, let's get.
Okay, so what he's saying is, on a specific play, when he felt like that the offensive line did block well, the running back didn't follow him. Well, again, that's a lack of trust. Like, the quarterback and the running back both, don't really trust the line. So they're not running plays the way that they're supposed to. So that's not really, like I said, a great thing, or a great position to be in, because, if there's not trust, then you're not going to have consistency. You're not going to be able to consistently be efficient. And, let's hope that we get those issues worked out, or else it's going to be a tough season, because despite all that, we still have, pretty good expectations based on the talent that we have in the skill positions. So, we'll see over time what happens with that. So I want to highlight the defense real quick. The guys that we have on the defensive line. Trajan Jeffcoat from Missouri was an all SEC caliber player in his time in the SEC. So he's an experienced guy. You got John Morgan from Pittsburgh. You got him out the portal. You got Anthony Baker from Maryland. You got Kelvin Rose from Louisiana Tech. So that's experience. You have Landon Jackson, who's a stud from LSU, experience. You have Eric Gregory. He's a 5-year senior, experience. So our defensive line has a lot of experience. So I think the defense is going to have to carry the team. I believe that those guys, are talented, they're deep, and I like the scheme that Coach Williams is actually implementing with the defense. So I just wanted to give them their shine because the defense is playing their butt off right now. So I want to talk a little bit about the offensive line that we have. Bo Limmer, who is 6'5", 307. Brady Latham is 6'5", 312. Devin Manuel is 6'9", 310. Tykees Crawford is 6'5", 326. Andrew Shamley is 6'6", 304. And Patrick Coots is 6'5", 313. Marion Harris is 6'7", 292. And Joshua Braun, who started at Florida last year, is 6'6", 348. So we got way too much size on the offensive line to not be able to run the ball against the type of teams that we're playing. Kent State averaged probably 260 pounds on the line, and we wasn't able to dominate them. That's not good. I don't think that is, so much of experience. I think it's mentality. I think it's the fact that we probably don't have any dogs on the team, or nobody that's like really leading that unit, because we are too big to not being able to push guys forward. So if it's mentality, you might get that or you might not get that. So, I'm curious to see if they improve moving forward, because we are too big, to, not be able to do, what we want to do. And we ran the ball 45 times yesterday to only get 172 yards. That's like, you pass the ball 19 times and run 45. That's 60 out of the 64 plays. That's 80% run, and we couldn't run. So I really feel like we have an identity crisis, because you can't run, your passing game really is not as effective because you are predictable. And I think that we have to figure out real quick, what the identity is going to be if it's not going to be the run. But we still got Rocket coming back. Hopefully, he'll be able to be serviceable, even with an average to mediocre line at best. So we'll just see what happens, as we move forward. And me personally, the rotating lines, as I said, I understand what he's doing, but at some point, you're going to have to find a unit that you can trust, because you have to build continuity. And this line doesn't have continuity right now. So, we'll be watching. And in the meantime, I want to thank you guys for watching me today on the Press Box with C. Will. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. And I would like it for you guys to go ahead and leave a comment, give your opinion. What do you think? Do you agree with the things that we're talking about? Just kind of see if you guys are, in agreement, to let us know that we're doing our part. So don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to the Press Box with C. Will. Until then, we'll see you. Catch you later.